For 19 years, one woman controlled access to one of the most scrutinized men in America. Her name was Leslie Groff. Her job title was executive assistant. Her real job, according to thousands of pages of unsealed court documents, was something closer to gatekeeper. The human firewall between Jeffrey Epstein and everyone who wanted a piece of his time. This week, that firewall sat down for an informal interview with House Oversight investigators. And within hours, one cable channel was already calling it a death blow. We read the clips. We read the transcript. Here's what's actually there. Groff's name surfaces in Epstein-related filings an extraordinary number of times. Reportedly in the range of 7,000 instances. That number sounds like a verdict. It isn't. It's a job description. If you schedule a man's calendar for 19 years, your name ends up on every email, every flight log annotation, every call sheet. Frequency is not significant. A hammer appears in every carpenter's toolbox, too. The substantive claim, the one actually worth examining, is narrower according to a member of Congress present for the interview. Groff said she scheduled calls between Epstein and Donald Trump roughly once a quarter, during a period before the two men's well-documented falling out in the early 2000s. Once a quarter, before the fallout. That's it. That's the headline underneath the headline. For context, Trump and Epstein's social overlap in that era is not new information. It's been public for over a decade. Flight logs, party photos, magazine profiles where the two men spoke warmly of each other. As fellow fixtures of the same Palm Beach social scene, Trump has acknowledged knowing Epstein and has said he banned him from Mar-a-Lago after a falling out around 2004. None of that changed this week. What changed is that a scheduling assistant confirmed in her own words that the relationship included a standing pattern of phone calls before the break. Is that newsworthy? Sure. Is it the discovery of a dark past surfacing? That's a different question entirely, and one the available evidence doesn't answer. Then there's the other half of Groff's testimony. The half that got far less airtime. Repeatedly, on specifics, she said she didn't recall names of other callers, details of what was discussed. The contents of conversations from 15, 18, 20 years ago. For an assistant managing a constantly rotating cast of billionaires, politicians, and socialites across 2 decades. I don't recall! Isn't necessarily a dodge. It might just be what memory looks like at that distance. But on cable, ambiguity doesn't survive the edge. I don't recall! Became evidence of concealment rather than evidence of, well, not recalling. And then, almost as an afterthought, tucked into the open of the segment, came a line connecting all of this to the active military conflict with Iran, a direct correlation. The host called it, no mechanism offered, no chain of evidence, just 2 news stories, stitched together because they were both bad news for the same man, in the same week. That's not journalism. That's narrative convenience. Here's what we can say with confidence. Leslie Groff was real. Her access was real. And her name in those files is real. A quarterly call schedule between 2 men who were already known associates is now documented by the person who booked it. Democrats want her under oath. Republicans control whether that happens soon. And somewhere between 67,000 mentions and I don't recall. The actual story sits smaller, duller, and far less cinematic than the thumbnail promised. We read what they buried. We just report what's on the floor. So let's talk about what happens after a clip like this goes viral. Because the clip is not the end of the story. The clip is the beginning of a second story. The story of how information gets laundered through outrage until nobody can tell the difference between a fact and a feeling anymore. Within hours of that interview transcript leaking, 3 things happened simultaneously. 1. Partisan media on the left amplified once a quarter, detail into a narrative of secret, ongoing coordination. 2. Partisan media on the right either ignored it entirely or preemptively framed it as a nothing burger, before most of their audience had even seen the underlying claim. 3. Almost nobody on either side linked to the actual transcript. That third point matters more than people realize. In the absence of the source document, the clip becomes the source document. The 30-second cut becomes the historical record, and 30-second cuts are, by design, optimized for one thing: making you feel something fast, not for making you understand something slowly. So what do we actually know, separated from the feeling? We know Leslie Groff worked for Epstein from roughly 2001 to 2019. We know her responsibilities included managing his calendar, his calls, and, according to multiple unsealed depositions from years prior, logistics around massage appointments, which was itself a recurring detail in the broader Epstein-Maxwell civil litigation. None of that is new. It's been part of the public record since at least 2015, when the first major tranche of Jeffrey v. Maxwell documents was unsealed. What's new is simply that Groff herself, in her own voice, confirmed details that were previously inferred from documents written by other people about her. That's a meaningful evidentiary upgrade. Corroboration matters. But corroboration of what exactly? Corroboration that a wealthy financier's assistant scheduled his calls with another wealthy individual he was publicly known to socialize with. That's the upgrade. That's the whole upgrade. Now, the subpoena angle. This part is real and worth tracking. Multiple committee Democrats have stated they intend to push for Groff to testify under oath on the record on video, where her answers carry legal weight that an informal transcribed interview does not. That's a genuine institutional development, if that happens. And if her sworn answers diverge even slightly from her informal ones, that's the moment this story would actually escalate. Right now, we're not there. Right now, we're in the pre-game. But here's the pattern Iran BNN has tracked across dozens of these stories. On every side of every conflict we've covered, Iran, Gaza, Ukraine, the Strait of Hormuz, the Pentagon leaks, all of it, the pregame gets covered as if it's the championship. The informal interview that might lead to a subpoena, that might produce sworn testimony, that might contain new information, gets compressed in the headline down to "he's been dimed out." That compression isn't an accident. It's a business model. Outrage retention works better than accuracy retention. A viewer who feels something is a viewer who shares something. A viewer who merely understands something calmly, with caveats, closes the tab. We're not telling you this story doesn't matter. The Epstein files matter. The pattern of who knew what, who scheduled what, who was in whose orbit. That's a legitimate historical reckoning that deserves to play out slowly, in courtrooms and committee rooms, not just in comment sections. What we're telling you is
Watch the gap. Watch the gap between what was said and what was claimed about what was said. That gap between once a quarter before the fallout, according to someone who mostly says she doesn't recall the rest. And dark past surfaces. He's been blind now. That gap is where the actual manipulation lives, not in the testimony, in the distance between the testimony and the thumbnail. Leslie Groff hasn't testified under oath yet. The calendar she kept for 19 years hasn't fully spoken. And until it does, everything else is just people filling the silence with the story they already wanted to tell. We read what they buried. We just report what's on the floor.